This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now, the search is on for this missing 18-year-old, where he was last seen before a silver alert was issued.
Plus, a Muncie mom behind bars charged with the death of her 3-month-old daughter. The questions still surrounding the case.
And the measles outbreak still means anyone who is not vaccinated is at risk. But it's also making things harder for people who are already sick. The risk measles poses to cancer patients straight ahead. Thanks for joining us this morning to start your work week. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is here. And Todd, no need to take an exotic vacation anywhere this summer, because you open your door this morning and you are hit with that humidity. I thought something was on fire in my backyard. It was so overpowering.
Yeah, it's super humid out there. So if you have a fake palm tree, you can throw it up in your backyard around your pool and just pretend you're in.
And Todd will be over with his palm leaf to cool you off.
Bring the drinks.
I could use it. I could use a pool. All right, outside right now, we are dealing with all that humidity that Meredith was mentioning. And you will. If you haven't been outside, you'll notice as soon as you walk out the door. We still have quite a bit of cloud cover out there. And the humidity is kind of the haze there as you look at Lucas Oil Stadium. Temperatures, not bad here this morning. We are in the 60s and 70s. Our issue is today, our temperatures aren't really going to come up. But the trade-off is while the temperatures don't come up, the humidity goes way down. So it becomes a lot more comfortable as the day goes on. Few hit-or-miss showers still lingering off to the east. These will be pushing into Ohio pretty quickly, but some areas saw over an inch of rain yesterday across parts of the area. So the rain, the clouds, they stick around here throughout the morning, but they too start to thin out as the day goes on. We get into the sunshine with that lower humidity this afternoon, and after dipping down into the low 60s here early in the afternoon, as soon as that sunshine comes out, temperatures will rebound, laying it back up to right around 70 degrees.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-65 at St. Clair Street. So this is in between the north and the south split, and you can see everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive. Let's take a look at the map coming in from the northwest side, heading southbound on I-65 from I-865 up in the Dogleg all the way down to I-70. Should only take you about 17 minutes. So everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive.
Elena, thank you. Breaking news right now. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office needs your help tracking down a missing 18-year-old. A silver alert has been issued for Ethan Taylor, who was last seen in Cicero around 10 p.m. last night.
He was wearing a red Fortnite t-shirt, jeans, and flip-flops. Police say he's about 5'10" and 180 pounds. Taylor is believed to be in extreme danger. If you know where he is or you see him, call police immediately. A Muncie mother is behind bars this morning, facing neglect charges in connection to the death of her daughter.
Police still keeping tight-lipped on exactly what happened, but right now we do know that Sarah Stile has been preliminarily charged with neglect of a dependent causing death. According to the Delaware County coroner, her daughter, 3-month-old Shay Anna Marie Stile, died on Saturday. The baby's cause of death is still under investigation. Stile is currently being held on a $50,000 bail.
A popular Indiana farm and dairy operation is taking steps to protect its animals after a video showing abusive conditions went viral. Last week, an animal rights group released the video taken at Fair Oaks Farms. Since then, the company's CEO has apologized and promised to install cameras to give an extra layer of protection. Over the weekend, he gave an update on progress at the farm.
We've already started installing temporary cameras while we have mapped out the entire property to specify the locations of the permanent cameras.
Fair Oaks suspended delivery service of all their products this week, saying drivers were getting death threats and in some cases run off the road after the abuse video went public. The Newton County Sheriff's Office is still investigating to determine if criminal charges will be filed in connection to the abuse video. This year, more than 1,000 cases of measles have been reported here in the U.S.
That's the highest number since 1992. The outbreak is dangerous to many, but especially one group of people already fighting for their lives. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us now in the studio. Alyssa, you spoke with a doctor about the impact measles can have on cancer patients.
That's right, Meredith. And the main thing is the fatality rate for measles in a healthy person is about 1 in every 1,000 patients. But for cancer patients, doctors say the infection and complication rate increases dramatically, so the fatality rate is much higher. That's mainly because people who have cancer have a compromised immune system. Cancer treatments like chemotherapy can suppress the immune system, making it harder for patients to fight the virus. Since the measles outbreak started, doctors at Franciscan Health's Cancer Center are counseling their patients, recommending immediate family members get the MMR vaccine. While the physicians are not telling patients to restrict their social lives, they are advising them to use caution during their daily routines. Oncologists say that the measles outbreak is frustrating, and it has forced them to shift their main focus of curing patients.
Adding a risk of infection to a potentially curable patient is not something we need to be focused on right now, but unfortunately that's where our focus is. It is a shame to help patients get rid of their cancer but then succumb to an illness such as an infection from measles.
Locally, Franciscan Health has taken steps to protect patients, restricting visitors who have not been vaccinated against measles or are not immune to measles. These people are not allowed to visit certain areas, including the Oncology Cancer Center. Indiana has one confirmed measles case since the start of the year. Public health officials say the majority of people who have contracted measles across the country were unvaccinated and are continuing to urge people to check their vaccination status and get the MMR vaccine as soon as they can.
Alyssa, thank you. Forgetting your keys can happen once in a while, but sometimes it can get much more serious. There's a new survey through the Alzheimer's Association about memory loss, and our Aaron Lish is live with the challenges you and your family may face. Aaron.
Good morning. So Lyle Bass, he realized that he was having some memory problems while he was playing a game that involved numbers, and he knew this was an issue because he's an accountant. So he talked to a doctor and found out that he had Alzheimer's disease. So this survey that we're looking at shows 9 in 10 Americans who have memory loss or thinking problems would want someone to point it out and share their concerns. And this is a big issue. The survey also showed 75% of people say it would be challenging to admit they're having memory loss to their family and friends. The Alzheimer's Association is hoping more families sit down and talk about this. For Lyle, he says it was important for him to get his loved ones involved early and make a plan with his caregivers along with his doctors.
Early diagnosis, early getting into it, being able to tell friends. And what I've done is build an outside team, family, friends. So I have a whole group of people already set up for my wife when she has to become a full-time caregiver.
And here are a few signs to look for: forgetting recently learned information, issues with planning, confusion with time or places, misplacing things, and change in mood or personality. And just in this video, you just saw it, Lyle had his Tesla. He picked that vehicle because of its technology. He's also bought an Apple Watch just in case he ever gets lost. His family can find him at that location. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to have a little bit more for patients and caregivers and what you can do. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Aaron, thank you. As we get into the warmer summer months, Fishers Police are hoping to get more community members on board to help keep local parks safe. The department is teaming up with the Parks and Recreation Department on a new program called Park Watch. It's similar to a neighborhood watch program where volunteers who already use parks will monitor the area for suspicious activity. The Fishers Police Chief says violent crime is not common, but they do see vandalism cases and other crimes at parks across the city.
When people are in parks and they see things that look out of place, anything to us is suspicious that's out of place. And what better than someone who lives near a park that knows the park and sees the park every day and has those trends? So anything out of the ordinary, a vehicle parked at 2 a.m., that's usually not an indicator of a good thing.
Jay Idle George is part of the Fishers Running Club. The group, made up of more than 100 runners, is volunteering their time for the Park Watch program.
We have members all over Fishers, so we're going to try to spread the word, you know, as you drive by, walk by, run by, just kind of take a peek. You know, if you have the time, walk through. If you see something, you know, say something. That's simple.
The city of Fishers still needs more volunteers, but they hope to send the message to everyone in Fishers that you don't have to be a volunteer to report suspicious activity on the Fishers Crime Watch app, which goes directly to officers already on patrol.
Summer vacation is almost here for nearly all Indianapolis students, but IPS wants to make sure your kids still have access to lunch every day. The district's free summer meal program starts today. Free breakfast and lunch will be served to any child under 18, not just IPS students. Adults can also buy a meal for less than $4. For a complete list of locations and times, you can head to the RTV6 app and click on this story. It is 6:10 right now. There it is, Todd, that word we've been saying all morning long. Humid.
Yeah,
humid alert.
You know, humid. It is extremely muggy out there, and we've been saying all morning long, if you haven't walked outside yet, you are going to be hit with that humidity, right? It's nice and comfortable in your house if you have air conditioning, because the air condition knocks the humidity down, but boy, you'll feel it as soon as you get outside, and it's uncomfortable with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Now, the good news is we've lost most of the rain. There's a few spotty showers here in far eastern Indiana. There could be a little bit of patchy drizzle in spots, but for the most part, we're done with the rain. As far as the clouds, they'll start to thin out as the morning goes on here across the area, and by this afternoon, it's beautiful. The humidity drops, the sun comes out, and temperatures get back up into the 60s and 70s, which is below normal, I know, but still, we're in great shape. So after all the rain yesterday, you might need to mow your lawn. We're really in pretty good shape here all week long for the lawn mowing, especially today and tomorrow. A little bit of a hiccup Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. There could be some showers around, but plenty of dry hours. Then Friday's a great day as well. I'll show you the 7-day planning forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Still ahead, land a job in an industry where job security is guaranteed.
The need for workers in the plumbing industry and why Hoosiers are already making the switch. Next in Hiring Hoosiers, Elena.
And here's a look at I-465 at Michigan Road up on the north side. You can see traffic is beginning to pick up, but doesn't appear to be any backups or delays just yet. Time now 6:11. You're watching RTV6. Stay with us.
Introducing Fancy Feast Gourmet Naturals recipes.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers ongoing series focuses on industries with a dire labor shortage in which you can find opportunities to earn a paycheck. This morning, we are focusing on piping, drains, faucets, and wells.
RTV6's Mark Mullen shows you one company looking for plumbers and an industry looking for anyone who is willing to learn a trade.
In Hendricks County, Kevin Blankenau is on the job, learning while he does the work.
Fixing things, I guess. Kind of comes natural to me.
He's with Justin Dorsey Plumbing out of Danville on an apprenticeship to become a fully licensed plumber, a program that usually takes 4 years. Today, he's looking into a leaky pipe that soaked the floor in the back room of a strip mall store.
Basically, one of the test ports has finally gone bad, and it will need to be ordered and replaced.
Kevin made the switch to pursue plumbing 3 years ago, saying he recognized it's a field that guarantees job security, and he wanted a career with a rising salary.
There are a lot of plumbing jobs out there, and there aren't enough shoes to fill those positions. This is where our apprentices come and we work.
Michael Rogers is Kevin's supervisor. He too made a career switch to plumbing, completed an apprenticeship program while earning money doing hands-on training, and climbed the ranks.
An apprenticeship is a great opportunity for someone who, as I said earlier, meets those criteria where they're personable, they're not afraid to be in front of people, to talk to people, where they're good problem solvers, where they can identify problems and come up with solutions, but they want to learn something new.
Now he's looking for people with that same drive.
I have 3 children and a wife, so I was able to work and still support my family while going to school and while learning the trade.
The owner of this company, whose name appears on the side of the truck, says that people his age are beginning to retire, and that causes some concern for him and the industry.
This trade as a whole across the country is losing thousands of people my age, I'm 60 years old, that are going into retirement. And there is a demand. You don't run out of a need for fresh water.
Always a need to flush the toilet or stop a leak. That's the job security Kevin was talking about now and for years to come. But he admits this field is not for those who are wishy-washy.
If you are, you got to be dedicated, I guess, to sticking with it, wanting to learn.
In Danville, Mark Mullins, RTV6.
Justin Dorsey Plumbing is looking for experienced licensed plumbers, but the company is also opening to helping applicants who want to get into an apprenticeship program with paid training. Licensed plumbers in Indiana typically earn between $54,000 to $80,000 a year to start, but many field techs quickly advance to earn a six-figure salary.
For more information on the open positions at Justin Dorsey Plumbing or to see other companies accepting apprentices, click on this link in this story at hiringhoosiers.com. And of course, while you're there, be sure to check out our new job board. Local employers will post current openings there for you to check out. It is 6:17. Todd, that shop behind you looks a little foggy.
Yeah, it's not the best and brightest shop for us. We can guarantee that, and that's all the humidity that's still around. Yesterday, we had over an inch of rain in spots. That has moved out. That is the good news, but we still have a lot of that residual moisture just suspended in the atmosphere, the humidity that's around, and you can see it's all the way up there at 97%. 67 degrees, that's the current temperature. The wind only at 6 miles per hour right now, and the wind will kind of kick up a little bit today, which actually helps us because it's out of that northwesterly wind direction, and that's what's going to help to drive the humidity downward. So it is extremely uncomfortable this morning. You haven't been outside yet. You'll notice as soon as you walk out the door, but I always talk about the dew point a lot throughout the summer months, and if you're in the 50s, you're in great shape. Once you get to the mid-60s and into the 70s, it's really, really uncomfortable. So we're in the mid-60s right now, but look at this. We're into the mid-50s by 3 p.m. and then the 40s later on this evening. So it becomes much more comfortable as the day goes on, and it also becomes a lot brighter as the day goes on, as we'll thin the clouds out as well. 60s and 70s here this morning. 71 in Muncie, 69 in Bloomington, 67 is the current temperature in Greencastle. And as we work our way throughout the day today, the morning clouds give way to sunshine. It's a bright finish to the day. It's very comfortable as well, but our temperatures will be a little bit below normal today. Normal highs should be up right around 81 degrees. We will not be anywhere close to there today, but with temperatures right around 70 later on this afternoon and the low humidity and the strong June sunshine, it'll feel pretty nice, and I encourage you to try to get out later on this afternoon or this evening. As far as the rain goes, we have a few spotty showers just hanging on in extreme eastern locations. The showers now east of Portland and east of Winchester, and they're moving off into Ohio, and that's basically it for the rainfall today. And you notice the sky is trying to clear, and they probably are in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We just have all that humidity again here closer to the ground level, so it's going to take a little while to thin that out, but eventually we do get there. And look at all the clear skies off to our west. That's what we'll enjoy this afternoon and into the day tomorrow. And I'll show you Tuesday's forecast in just a second. It's probably the best day we have this week. So here are the morning clouds. They'll move out. They thin for some sunshine later on this afternoon. So get out there and enjoy it. As far as that forecast tomorrow, look at that. Mostly sunny skies. Starting off tomorrow morning, very comfortable. So as uncomfortable as it is this morning, tomorrow we're probably in the 40s and 50s with low humidity. You can give the air conditioners a break, but then they'll be on again later on in the afternoon with highs right around 70 degrees with lots of sunshine. And looking ahead in this forecast, Wednesday, most of the day is dry. Late Wednesday into Thursday, some showers are possible. Then Friday's another great day. There's temperatures running a little bit below normal this week with highs that'll be in the 60s and 70s. Back up to 80 degrees as we head into the weekend. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-65 at Main Street down in Greenwood. So if you're heading up to the city from Greenwood, this is what you'll see. Or if you're heading down to Greenwood, this is what you'll see this morning. The good news, everything's moving along just fine. Let's take a look at the map coming in from the southwest side. If you're heading on I-70 from Ronald Reagan Parkway up to I-65, should only take you 12 minutes. So the good news is everything's moving along just fine, as rings true no matter where you're headed right now. Let's hope it stays that way for your morning drive.
Elena, thank you. This morning, some Dallas residents waking up in a temporary home after this deadly crash. A construction crane was brought down by severe weather on Sunday, killing one person and injuring 5 others. Widespread damage and power outages were reported across Dallas as storms moved through yesterday.
It just sliced through the building. I mean, not to be cliche, but like a hot knife through butter. And it went from the 5th floor all the way through to, from what I can tell, at least the 3rd floor.
This morning, 2 people are still in critical condition at the hospital. As the investigation continues, roads near the apartment complex will remain closed.
Police in Washington, D.C. released new details about a shooting scare that caused widespread panic at the Pride Parade in our nation's capital over the weekend. Officials say a man who pulled out a BB gun was the reason. People were panicking. In the chaos, 7 people were injured, running away from the scene. Police say despite reports, no shots were actually fired, but some gates were knocked over, which may have sounded like gunshots. The suspect was arrested for having a prohibited weapon. Today, the Indy 500 celebration will head to Washington, D.C.
President Trump and Vice President Pence will host Team Penske and Simon Pagenaud. The president invited the team to the White House in a tweet sent after the 103rd Indy 500.
Still ahead, safety improvements coming to your child's bus. The new equipment that should help protect kids getting on and off the school bus every day. Coming up in 10 minutes.
Plus, Broadway in Nashville turned into an Old Town Road. The surprise performances that rocked CMA Fest coming up next.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now 6:25. Here's a look at I-465 just north of I-70 over on the east side. You can see all's moving along just fine right now for your morning drive.
It's a song that everyone except for Todd seems to be singing. Billy Ray Cyrus and Lil Nas X surprising the CMA Fest crowds in Nashville with a little Old Town Road this weekend.
Yeah, they performed once at the Old Red Bar on Broadway and another time on the CMS Fest main stage at Nissan Stadium. This morning, the two were talking about the song's smash success.
Old Town Road somehow manages to hit every demographic, and they love it, and it's like magic.
Just a massive amount of people singing the same song and feeling it, and it's a unique feeling. I never thought I'd ever get to feel it again.
Well, you can watch more of that interview with Lil Nas X and Billy Ray coming up on Good Morning America right here on RTV6.
Todd just says to me, so Billy Ray Cyrus is part of this?
Wow.
And then he looked at me like, wait, how am I supposed to know that?
Yeah, well, when we showed him at the school, it was just him, not Billy Ray.
Well, yes, because Billy Ray is part of the remix.
He wasn't available.
So you have 2 songs to learn now. Just Old Town Road, then the Old Town Road remix.
I will say, though, the first CD I ever owned,
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Nice.
Take a breaky heart.
So now you can come full circle.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, outside right now, it's extremely humid out there. Temperatures in the 60s and the 70s. Lots of clouds around. As gloomy as it is kind of this morning with the clouds and all that humidity, it does turn into a beautiful day across the area. So you have to be patient, but it becomes mostly sunny. The humidity comes way down. So this afternoon and evening will be great across the area with temperatures a little below normal, but getting back up to right around 70 degrees.
Todd, thank you. Still ahead, the measles outbreak, putting those with cancer at an even bigger health risk. The real dangers for those fighting cancers as the measles outbreak just keeps spreading. That's after the break.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6:30, it's new technology that could prevent another tragedy from happening. The product being tested right here in Indiana that could keep students safe while getting on and off school buses.
And this morning, police are asking for your help. The information they want you to know after this 18-year-old went missing overnight in Hamilton County.
And the numbers of measles cases continues to grow here in central Indiana and across the country. The reason people fighting cancer are even more at risk. It's 6:30 on your Monday morning. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Meteorologist Todd Klassen here. Todd, we've been talking about it. It's so humid outside when you step out the door.
Yeah, the first thing I notice when I wake up is I see the condensation on my window. So then you kind of get the idea, all right, it's not going to be very pleasant when you walk outside. And then you walk out of the air conditioning, if you have it outside, and you're just hit with that wall of humidity. And even if you don't have air conditioning, you'll notice it certainly as you walk out the door. So So it's not the brightest start, but I'm going to check off the sunglasses because by this afternoon, you will need them. It turns into a great day. You just have to be patient here. The light jacket, I checked. You probably don't need it so much here this morning with all the humidity around, but some of you might want it with temperatures that are currently in the 60s and 70s across the area. The problem is today, these temperatures are actually going to cool down as we head into the noon hour before they slowly start to come back up. 70 degrees right now in Muncie, 67 in Richmond. As far as the rain goes, we are done with that. That has moved now off towards the east. There's just a few lingering showers right on the border, and the skies will start to clear this morning. So you may have to be a little patient here this morning, but eventually these clouds break apart. As soon as that happens, we get the sunshine out and the humidity that comes way down throughout the day. So we're at 64 degrees by the noon hour. That's not a typo. The temperatures actually drop, and then as soon as we get into the sunshine, they'll come back up with a high right around 70 degrees. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. As you're hitting the roads, coming in from this northeast side, heading southbound on I-69 from Huntington Avenue down to I-465 should only take you about 5 minutes. So everything's moving along just fine. This is one of those areas that gets pretty heavy with traffic, but if you're making your way out the door, you should be good to go. Let's take a look at that area right now on our live INDOT traffic camera, I-69 at 106th Street. You can see traffic's moving along just fine both directions.
Elena, thank you. Right now, police need your help looking for a missing Hamilton County man. Take a good look at your screen. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Department says they need help finding 18-year-old Ethan Taylor. He was last seen in Cicero around 10 o'clock last night. He was wearing a red Fortnite t-shirt, blue jeans, and flip-flops. He was also wearing glasses. Investigators say he needs medical assistance. If you know anything about where Ethan is, call 911.
New safety equipment for school buses is being tested right here in central Indiana. This comes after 3 children in Fulton County were killed trying to board a bus last October. The equipment is called the Predictive Stop Arm. When vehicles get too close to the bus while the stop arm is out, drivers and walkers get a verbal warning. The Clark Pleasant School Corporation just got a 4-week trial of the system. Drivers say they welcome the extra eyes.
We've got all kinds of distractions. We got kids not maybe sitting in their seats or yelling and screaming, and it only takes 1 split second for that driver to take their eyes off of the road or eyes off of that child that's passing in front of them to go home for something to happen. This way, it helps them to control what is going on, even outside the bus. And we've never had that before.
The Predictive Stop Arm can be integrated with the bus's existing cameras to capture license plates of drivers who pass the stop arms. The product is being tested in 5 states and will be available for purchase later this summer.
A West Point cadet from Terre Haute is recovering after he was injured in that deadly crash during training last week. Senior cadet Zach Potter is healing and even back at training after the crash late last week. Potter is a punter for the Army football team and a Terre Haute North Vigo graduate. Potter's father says he learned about the crash when his son called him from an ambulance. The crash killed 1 person when the vehicle the cadets were riding in rolled over. The investigation into the crash continues this morning.
This morning, police are warning drivers to be on the lookout for a man possibly impersonating officers. The Rush County Sheriff's Office says a woman told them she was pulled over and ordered out of her car by a man driving a dark vehicle with red lights. They say the woman told them the man was not in a uniform and showed her some kind of badge the woman said appeared to be fake. She didn't get out of her car and instead drove away and called police. Authorities remind everyone that in order for any officer to conduct a traffic stop, that officer must be in proper and complete uniform and be in a marked police vehicle. If you have any information about this possible impersonator, you are asked to call the Rush County Sheriff's Office.
Brownsburg police are hoping to connect victims of sexual assault and domestic violence with the resources they need. Morgan Coley is the new victim advocate with the police department. It's a first of its kind role for Brownsburg and for police agencies in Hendricks County. Morgan will help guide victims of crimes through the criminal investigation process and free up detectives to focus more on solving crimes.
Measles cases continue to pop up across the country. More than 1,000 cases have been reported in the first half of 2019 alone. The virus, considered eradicated nearly 20 years ago, is now a threat to many, especially people with cancer. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke with oncologists at Franciscan Health. Alyssa, this is not only frustrating for them, but their patients as well.
That's right, Meredith. The focus of oncologists is to cure patients of their cancer and help them fight it, and in some cases learn how to manage it. The resurgence of measles is a major threat to the work they are doing to help their patients. The reason measles is so dangerous for people with cancer is because their immune system is not as strong as a healthy person's. Anti-cancer treatments and the cancer itself suppresses immunity and makes it much harder to fight the virus. Doctors at Franciscan Health's Cancer Center are taking steps to ensure their patients are not exposed to measles, advising them to use caution in their daily routines and make sure family members are vaccinated. The fatality rate for measles in a healthy person is about 1 in every 1,000 patients, but it's very different for someone who is fighting cancer.
In general, they can have much more morbidity from even having the measles. So their infection rate is higher, their complication rate is higher, and their fatality rate is much higher compared to a healthy individual.
Last month, Franciscan Health placed restrictions on visitors. People who have not been vaccinated or are not immune to measles cannot enter certain areas, including the Oncology Cancer Center. Public health officials continue to urge people to get vaccinated, saying the majority of people who have contracted measles did not receive the vaccine.
Alyssa, thank you. A federal judge says a Southern Indiana school corporation violated a transgender student's rights by not allowing him to use the boys' bathroom at school. The ACLU sued the Evansville-Vanderburg School Corporation last year after the teenager was told to use the women's restroom. The judge found the district violated the student's 14th Amendment civil rights. The judge also says the school violated Title IX laws by allowing transgender students to use gender-neutral bathrooms, but not bathrooms corresponding with their gender identity.
Indiana's 9th Safe Haven baby box will be available for use in Seymour later this week. It will look similar to this baby box in Carmel. It's installed at Fire Station number 3 on Meadowbrook Drive and will be operational on Friday. The boxes give parents the option of surrendering a newborn baby safely, anonymously, and legally. Columbus North High School student Hunter Wart raised $10,000 for the Seymour baby box.
If someone you loved showed signs of memory loss, would you be the person to bring up your concerns? Our Erin Lish is live with a new survey that shows the challenges you and your family may face. She has more information this morning from the Alzheimer's Association. Erin, good morning.
Good morning. So with that survey, 9 in 10 Americans who are having memory loss or problems say if they would have that issue, they would want someone to point out their concerns. A big number right now is about 75% of people who think that they might have some problems say it's hard to admit that they are having that memory loss to their family and friends. This man in the video is Lyle Bass. He figured out that he was losing his memory while playing a game dealing with numbers, and that was an issue since he was an accountant. So he went to the doctor and was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. For Lyle, he says it was difficult telling people about having Alzheimer's, but he learned that there are resources to help plan out his future.
Something you don't necessarily want to brag about, but I found out very quickly that just because there's no cure or nothing they say you could do about it, there's a lot you could do about it and also help other people.
This can be a scary time for someone, so decide who you think would be the best person to talk to that person. Figure out a time, place, and date. Try starting the conversation with, hey, I've noticed this change in you. I'm concerned. Have you noticed it? Are you worried? The Alzheimer's Association has a list of suggestions. They also say to offer going to the doctor with that person. Lyle has his whole family involved in this. He says that he has his grandchildren creating memory games with him, so they are with this journey. We will have those resources for those patients and caregivers on our website through the Alzheimer's Association. That will all be on RTV6 on the app and on our website. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Aaron. The time now is 6:40. As you walk outside this morning, you're walking out to a lot of humidity, and you can kind of see that on our tower camera here. As you look north there past the Central Library, you can see all that moisture, the haze that we have in the lower levels of the atmosphere. That's the humidity at the top of the screen. You could see a little more in the way of sunshine. So slowly we'll burn this cloud cover off, and we'll push the humidity out as well with a dry northwesterly wind, but you just got to be a little bit patient this morning. Good news is the rain from yesterday is now well off to the east. Many locations picked up over an inch of rain. We get an opportunity to dry out here throughout the day today, tomorrow, and much of Wednesday as well. So it's a good morning. You'll work up a sweat here walking your dog, and our featured dog of the day is Calvin, sent in by Evan. Thanks for sending Calvin in. He's all ready for his walk here this morning. It looks like he's ready for a treat as well. As we go throughout the day, the weather even gets better again because that humidity comes down. The sunshine will be out in force this afternoon with a high temperature right around 70 degrees.
Todd, thank you. Concern is growing on the campus of one university this morning. The investigation now underway as someone is secretly filming female students at the school.
House Democrats are launching a series of hearings this week to keep the focus on special counsel Robert Mueller's report. They'll zero in on two main topics: obstruction of justice and Russian election interference. First up this afternoon, the Judiciary Committee will question former counsel to President Nixon about obstruction. Many lawmakers still want to question Mueller himself, but he's made it clear that his report is his testimony.
Some Oregon State University students are on edge this morning. Investigators say someone was secretly recording female students and posting the videos to a porn site. The school put out a campus alert soon after they became aware of more than 50 videos that had been posted within the last 3 weeks. The website, Your Local Security, named Oregon State University the safest college campus in 2018, but now some students are concerned about privacy and safety. An OSU spokesman says school administrators are looking into who took the videos.
This morning, there is some major work ahead for people on the campus of Duke University. Some parts of the school are underwater. The school was slammed with torrential rain over the weekend that left several buildings closed because of water damage. Crews will be spending the start of this work week working to repair and reopen the buildings for students. Thankfully, no one was injured in the flooding. And here at home, Meredith, when walking out the door this morning, man, it is hot out there.
Yeah, it is a shock to the system, I'd say, Todd.
Yeah, the humidity, it just is like a wall. And as soon as you walk out your door and into it, you feel it right away. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s, so it's a mild start and a very muggy start for us here this morning across the area. But here's the good news. Throughout the day, the humidity drops, so it's a lot more comfortable later on this afternoon when you come home from work than it is heading out the door this morning. The sun comes out as well, so despite how muggy and uncomfortable and gloomy it is this morning, it really turns into a great day, and then we'll have another great day on tap for the day tomorrow. Here's the view from downtown to the north as you look past the War Memorial there and then off into the distance up Meridian Street. You can see the haze that we have out there. That's all the moisture that's suspended in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and that's why it's so uncomfortable. At the top of your screen, it was a little more prominent earlier this morning, but you could see a little bit of blue sky. So you just got to be patient this morning. We'll have the clouds around for a good chunk of the morning, and then we'll thin them out, and then it gets sunny later on this afternoon. 67 degrees is the current temperature. The humidity is the issue this morning. It's way up there with that dew point in the mid-60s, but this northwesterly wind, it's already changed direction to that northwesterly component. It's not very strong this morning. Everything's kind of stagnant out there right now at 6 miles per hour, but that wind will kind of kick up and it'll kind of push these clouds out and help drop the humidity as the day goes on. Everybody's in the 60s and one lone 70 out there right now in Muncie, but as we look off to the west, you can see the cooler temperatures. This is the air mass we're in come this time tomorrow. I think our low temperatures tonight probably get into the 40s and 50s, but until then, we'll have to deal with the humidity that's going to be around. Now, the good news is we have lost the rain. This was remnants of a tropical system. It wasn't named in the Gulf of Mexico, but it had all those tropical characteristics, all the moisture and the humidity. And that's why yesterday we had dry conditions, then all of a sudden it's just a light drizzle, maybe a quick downpour moving through, very reminiscent of a tropical tropical type system, but the good news is, again, that's heading off towards the east, and the skies are going to slowly clear, and then here's all the sunshine back off to the west and the clear skies that we'll enjoy in the days ahead. So clouds this morning, we're in the 60s. The temperature actually drops heading into the noon hour, a little uncharacteristic. Normally we always go up from the morning hours, but then as soon as we get into the sunshine, the temperature does rebound back up to 70 degrees later on this afternoon with all the sunshine. It's very, very pleasant. So your afternoon workout, your evening workout is going to be much more comfortable than this morning. This evening, sunset 9:13, beautiful. Temperatures falling back down into the 60s. Then overnight tonight, I mentioned 40s and 50s. Nice comfortable air mass. You can open the windows, give the air conditioner a break. And then tomorrow, it's probably the best weather day of the week simply because it's comfortable in the morning. We have mostly sunny skies throughout the day, and your high temperature that gets up to 79 degrees. So overall temperatures this week will be running just a little bit below normal. As far as the rain goes, Wednesday into Thursday, we have to deal with some. It's probably more overnight though. The daytime hours should be in pretty good shape. Friday is beautiful, and then as we head into the weekend, scattered storms are back in the forecast with highs right around 80 degrees. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. When you're hitting the roads, not too much is happening right now. If you're coming in from the southeast side, heading northbound on I-74 from Acton Road up to I-465, it should only take you about 5 minutes, so no backups or delays. Let's take a look at this area right now on our live in.traffic cameras. I-74 Acton Road looks pretty empty out there on the roadways. If you're making your way out the door, should be a breeze.
Elena, thank you. Get ready for Game 7. The Stanley Cup Finals will all come down to one game later this week. The Boston Bruins had their backs against the wall last night in St. Louis. The Blues had a 3-2 lead in the series, but couldn't close things out last night. The Bruins used a huge third period to top St. Louis 5-1. Now both teams will head back to Boston for a deciding Game 7. It is the first Stanley Cup Final Game 7 since 2011. That game is set for Wednesday night. What do you have to do when you deal with a bad situation? Well, you make the best out of it.
Well, that's exactly what happened when a shopping mall had a massive water leak. Just take a listen to what the mall decided to do.
Quite place the music. That's the theme song for the movie Titanic.
You could say it was a perfect choice for this situation. It makes me feel kind of sad.
I was going to say, I feel like some people would be running in a panic, maybe, a la the movie.
Right, exactly. Well, last week an Indiana dairy farm got national attention after a video of animal abuse went viral. Just ahead, an update on the steps being taken to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:53. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. We are working for you, helping you get your week started.
We have your top stories covered, and Elena Martella is keeping a close eye on traffic. We do want to start off with Todd Clausen and this muggy Monday morning.
Yeah, it's extremely muggy here this morning. Here's the view from downtown to the north, and you can see the sunshine starting to appear more and more, and that's going to be the trend throughout the day. So your temperatures right now are in the 60s and 70s, and these temperatures really don't change much at all throughout the day. What does change is the humidity. It goes way down as the day progresses, and that is the good news. So it becomes more and more comfortable hour by hour. The rain is now pushing off towards the east. It's into Ohio, so throughout the morning hours, we'll thin the clouds out. It becomes mostly sunny this afternoon. The humidity is way down, so get out there and enjoy as our temperature gets back up to right around 70 degrees.
Todd, thank you. An update to a story we have been following all morning. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Department says they have found a missing 18-year-old. A silver alert was issued overnight for Ethan Taylor. He was reported missing around 10 last night, but within the last hour, we have learned he was found safely just after 5 this morning. A popular Indiana farm and dairy operation is taking steps to protect its animals after a video showing abusive conditions went viral. Last week, an animal rights group released the video taken at Fair Oaks Farms. Since then, the company's CEO has apologized and promised to install cameras to give an extra layer of protection. Fair Oaks suspended delivery service of all of their products this week, saying drivers were getting death threats and in some cases run off the road. Alyssa.
Well, more than 1,000 cases of measles have been reported since the start of 2019. And there are certain groups this outbreak is having a greater impact on. One of those is people with cancer. Doctors say cancer treatments compromise a person's immune system, making it easier for them to catch the virus. If a person with cancer gets measles, their infection, complication, and fatality rates are much higher than someone who is healthy.
Good morning. A new survey is out about memory loss, and the Alzheimer's Association is hoping more families sit down and talk about this. So this is Lyle Bass. He is living with Alzheimer's disease and says it wasn't always easy to talk about. The survey shows nearly 75% of people say it would be challenging to admit that they're having memory loss to their family and friends. It suggested if you notice issues, decide who you think would be the best person to talk to that person. Try starting the conversation with, hey, I've noticed this change in you and I'm concerned. Have you noticed it? Also offer to go to the doctor with that person as support. Lyle says to go in as soon as possible so you can get a plan in place with your family. Back to you guys in the studio.
Erin, thank you. Summer vacation is almost here for nearly all Indianapolis students, but IPS wants to make sure kids still have access to lunch every day. The district's free summer meal program starts today. Free breakfast and lunch will be served to any child under 18, not just IPS students. Adults can also buy a meal for less than $4. For a complete list of locations and times, go to the RTV6 app and click on this story. Elena.
All right, thank you, Nicole. So as you're hitting the roads, we have a car that's actually in the canal, and that's at Westfield Boulevard near Kessler Boulevard. And the fire department's working this, but the good news is that car is getting moved out of the area as we speak. But we also know that nobody was in the car, so we're trying to figure out how it got in there. The situation and investigation is underway. This is a live look of it right now. You can see it is submerged in that canal. So as we learn more information, we'll of course let you know.
All right, thank you. This morning it's warm and it's muggy out there. As we'll see temperatures that'll eventually cool off a little bit down to 64 degrees, but the day goes on, the humidity drops. That's the big thing you'll notice throughout the day. So while it's very uncomfortable right now, it becomes very pleasant later on this afternoon with skies that'll become mostly sunny, a high right around 70 degrees. Tomorrow's a terrific day, back up near 80 with sunshine. Some showers late Wednesday into Thursday, but nothing major. And then more thunderstorms by the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America. We hope you have a great rest of your Monday.